Hello, hello. Hello, bye-bye. Welcome, welcome. Why is that so loud? Ah, there we go. That's better. Yes, Sauks. Sauks and Calfee. Okay, so this is the wrong... Why is the game so loud for me? Ah, Windows did that thing where it resets the audio but doesn't actually. Where's our fruit salad start? Um... Trying to figure out the reference. Is the only fruit salad reference I know is the Wiggles and the fruit salad. Cats and fish, someone will not survive. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the fish already didn't survive. Aren't they skeleton? Aren't they like fish bones? Yeah, I think we can safely say the cats won. Unless it's Halloween. Ooh, then they're onto something. Okay. So, last time we finished connecting up all of the fuel. Now we do overproduce fuel pretty significantly. However, a lot of it goes into the outpost initially, so I don't know if it's that overproduced because it will, like 80% of this does go into the outpost for roughly like 20-30 minutes. And then it starts filling these, maybe not 20 to 30 minutes. I think it's about 10 before all the belts back up. But either way, that increases the belt delay by about start time by, about 10 minutes or maybe a little more because of constant consumption as well. But anyway, last time we routed a lot of stuff through the base, so we need to start working on our building train, which is going to go here. And I'm assuming I'll be able to wrap it and go down. Yeah, we have plenty of space. I don't know why. This is a pretty large area. I don't know why there is any chance I didn't think a train could stop here. But yeah, we'll need to do some kind of train. And then we also have to decide if we want to do a fueling train or not. I don't know if we can set it up that easily because we don't really have rail signals on most of our network. However, we probably could if we really wanted to. I need to figure out how much time that saves. But this is actually not the world we need to work on. We need to work on the outpost, which is under here. Finalized outpost, no efficient. Ooh, which one? Which one could it be actually? So that was, huh? Probably all of these are the same, but one of them is primed with fuel. I mean, it has the word final in it, so like realistically, that's probably it. Then again, my naming scheme is very sporadic, so we'll see if it's actually correct. Actually, let's see. Can we search? How many times have I used the word final? Oh, this is the only time I used the word final. Okay, well that's something. Let's see. This is the electric one because I was comparing how much worse mine is. The answer is incredibly worse. Incredibly worse? Significantly worse. There we go. And then we decided we're doing... Wait, this doesn't look right. Maybe it is the other one. I think I need the starting time one. 16K primer. Okay, I think it's this one. I think this is our most optimized, well, optimized design. I mean, it's burners. You can only, you can optimize it for what it is, but at the end of the day, it's still burners. There we go. Okay, so I don't want to do this. This is really large. I don't think this is a viable design. This one was just kind of a proof of concept. 30 saturates a belt, 60 saturates a yellow belt. I think rate-wise, this requires... It doesn't necessarily require pumps, but this requires us to split the pipes, which I don't think is that viable. Because this uses 2,000 oil. It's safe to assume that we can only have... Wait, why does this say it's outputting? Oh, did I accidentally highlight these? I probably accidentally... Highlight? Is highlight a word? Probably not, but I think we can pretend it is. Okay, I think I accidentally highlighted that. Wow, these are... Those only produce 1,200? Really? I just kind of assumed that all, like, one oil would always be enough. Although this is a pretty bad patch that I copied, right? Like, some do get up to They only really get up to like 1500. No, they're definitely not as good as I thought. I mean, that's not a huge deal. But anyway, 2000 we very much cannot run. I think I have to make the assumption that I can only run maybe 1000. Does rate calculator, does anybody know if that accounts for mining productivity? Looks like it. Well, actually, does it? Huh. That says 2000. What if we get another mining productivity? Okay, it does. So that means that, yeah, we're going to struggle to get enough oil unless we use a lot of pump jacks. Okay. I did not expect us to need this many pump jacks. I know. Well, okay, I know it's not a lot of pump jacks, right? We're using like 5 or 10 per outpost. So it's really not nearly as bad as it feels. It just feels like too many. But I definitely don't think we can afford to run this many. I think max we can run half of that. That is a very fair assumption, I think. So we will cut off the entire top of this. And then that gives us 1300. So that is probably close to what we can run in a single pipe, right? Factorio fluid system. I know there's like a sheet somewhere that says how much you can reasonably move based on the amount of pipes. So 1300 can only go through 11 pipes. But a lot of it will be consumed beforehand, so no, it's not. I don't think it's happening. I don't think we can have 1300. So if we do this design, we have to split the oil. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is something we have to consider. Definitely something we have to consider. Wow, these use way more than I thought. I mean, it's not like we can send solid fuel out there constantly to refuel the outpost. So, I mean, it's a necessary evil, right? Is it a necessary evil? Well, hold on. How much solid fuel is being consumed between all of these? Probably a lot. Where I usually make the assumption that on average the burners inserters use about like 30 to account for like the idling ones. That's just a random number, but it seems to be a decent estimate. Because 72 is the max if everything was running constantly, so I'm assuming most of them are running half speed, therefore about half that, 30-ish, 30, 35. The 600 burners, 2,600. So let's do 2,300 times 30 plus 600 times 150. Constant consumption is 70 megawatts. And that doesn't that doesn't include the furnaces. Plus 363 times 90. And those are constantly running. Okay, so that's a much larger number. 102,000 megawatts. So that is 10 solid fuel per second. 10 solid fuel per second is the average consumption. So if we wanted to ship that from the base, that's not terrible to run. I just don't know if we could reasonably get enough trains for that to work. Let's see, what can we do? Is there anything like fancy we can do with logic? I know we can do the summon a train only if we need it combinator fairly easily. Now the start time of outposts if we use a train is pretty good. The issue is we would have to make an actual train network, and I don't think that's super viable to send one train to 20-ish outposts, something around there. Somewhere around 20 outposts constantly. Yeah, that's not something we can set up during the time that we have. I think in a mega base setting it would be perfect, but well, a non-timed mega base setting, it would be perfect. But I think in this case, it's not great. Now we could use beacons to reduce the size of this, or beacons plus module. Oh, that gets power expensive. Power matters actually. Power matters a lot. to the point where we're actually going to put efficiency modules in most of these, I think. I'm pretty sure we decided we wanted to efficiency module them. And then we're going to do one less in each. I mean, we can always remove the efficiency modules from the blueprint. It really depends how much I'm producing in my main base. And then this should... Oh, it's so hard to say how much this produces. We're assuming it's iron limited, right? No, it's not. It's not really iron limited. It's well, okay. Each assembler is getting 1.2 iron per second, which produces 1 point... What is that? 0.625 times 2 times productivity boost, which is 16%. Yeah. So times 1.16. So each yellow assembler produces 1.45 items per second, which it can barely produce, but it can produce them thanks to all the stack size upgrades. And then each outpost has 79 assemblers. I think they don't all run. I think it's more like 77, but we'll just say 79. So each outpost produces 13. That's not the right number. Each outpost produces 115 green chips per second. That sounds reasonable, right? How many is that per hour? 115 times 3,600. So each outpost is 400,000 per hour. And our goal is to get... I think we're probably going to peak around 6 million. Something like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 divided by this. So that's 15 outposts. Theoretically, if we might be able to get up to 8 million, depending on how much of a performance impact biters have and our original base. Since we've done stress tests, and we can do 8 to 10 million if the only thing that we're possibly running is the outposts. But that does not consider any section where oil might be a little farther, things like that. Things that I think might add up to make a couple outpost difference. So 400,000, we're going to do 6 an hour is the goal. We're going to be outposting for like 2 to 3 hours at least. But I just needed to get an idea of how many of these we're going to have. Okay, so we need elegant connections with, let's see. These are designed to use full belts, right? Not compressors. And if they don't use compressors, it's not a big deal. So first thing, let's copy this and move it elsewhere. That's a great start. Actually, no, I think I would much rather just save this. Startup time, let's see, finalized outpost with connections. So we need to figure out how we're actually going to make connections. Now, these are all yellow belts. I think in practice, we're actually going to be using red belt. But I know that we get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's a little bit annoying, but I get it. We're basically... The standard was, let's find a large iron patch and find 2 copper patches. Sounded a lot easier than finding 1 iron patch that's huge and then like a really big copper patch. And then iron is 5 belts. So iron is the one that we're using as our base, right? So iron is where iron is the central location. So this will always be built really close to an iron patch. So let's cut all of the copper. The reason why we're not like copying this somewhere else to start from scratch is because I want to be able to see what resources are on the belt. That makes it a whole lot easier to do these connections. Now I don't really know how much copper needs to go into each belt. Based on how the splitters are set up, it's exactly half a belt for each of these, plus like a weird supplement in the middle. Which is really weird, but it does make sense because burner inserters are weird. So it looks like we have two separate spots that get supplemented with a yellow belt and then a bunch of side loads, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 6 yellow belts going into side loading, 3 yellow belts going into these vertical sections. Okay, that makes sense. How easily can I get a patch of 6? I think it's difficult to get a patch of that can support 6 lanes of resources, which is why we have 5 or 6, 5, and 4. It might be worth doing a half lane though. So that would waste belt. But if I could do 4.5 and 4.5, I feel like that's a lot easier to find than 4 and 5. I don't know. I probably won't struggle to get 5. I might be overthinking that. Okay, but we can definitely lower these a lot. And then maybe, let's see, maybe copper can come from a different direction, so maybe copper can underground through here. Not sure. Not sure where the gaps should be, really. And we'll just delete everything up here because that's a complete and total mess. Oh right. I remember now. Okay, so yeah, iron is weird because it's split. It's the edge. Sorry, I have a my sinuses have been awful for the past couple weeks, so some words are hard to say. It's on the edge, end, far side, far side. It's on the far side. There we go. I can say that word. So one of the iron lanes is going to need to split both ways. So I'm assuming that would be this one. No, I don't think it matters if I go, let's see, middle, right? So middle, 1, 2. Does it matter how the alignments are in terms of belt saving? So if I build this in the middle, I'll go 1 straight down, 1 over from here. And then 1 over here, and then 1 over here. Okay, just trying to get like vertical saving or horizontal savings, and then this one would go here, this one would go here. Vertical aspect of this doesn't matter. Okay, so that is if we have it in the middle, that's about 200 belts. If we have everything on the end, we'll have one go down, one will go all the way over there. And then I think this is the alignment we have, right? Okay, and then we'll have there, 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 and there. How much belt is this? We're just looking at the yellow. Okay, that is a lot more. I guess that makes sense. I don't know why I thought for some reason the edge would be the same. I thought they would balance out, but yeah, it has to unload or it should unload in the middle. So that means we can shift this over. So I think for now, I'm actually going to just build it around iron belts that are spaced this far apart. We're actually going to give them an infinity filter so I don't lose track of what they are. So infinity chest, infinity loader, which I can never remember where those go. There we go. And then iron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Way easier to tell where the spacing are now. Okay, so the most centered position would be here, I think. Actually, no. The spacing is going to be a little bit odd. Let's see. That has 1, 2, 3. Oh, but some of these are copper. Hold on. That's why it feels off because I'm looking at copper splitters instead. Okay, so this has 3 to the left. This has 5 to the left. So the center would be here, I think. It really depends which side I want to send which way, but I don't think that matters a ton. That goes straight down, that goes straight down. One goes over, this gets a supplement from the right. Okay, I think this works. Yeah, I think this is good. Roughly centered. Because we have some that can go straight down. And then, like I said, we can lower these a lot, which I think will help. And we should have plenty of space to pass uh, copper through on the left. The main thing I'm worried about is the compressor. You know, let's make it compact. We'll make it short. I think that's a good option. And then we'll lower it later. We'll lower it later. Or we can raise it later if we need. But I think planning for it being short is good. Hello, Envy, welcome, welcome. Or Shadow. Oh, hold on. Gosh, my sinuses are so much worse today than I thought. Hay fever has not been fun this year. I've been working on the script for a new, well, for this video actually, the burner hundo. I'm going to be doing a post-commentary script of the original run, to announce, and then posting it probably about a week or two before I do this run to announce the run, since I think that will work out well. That will be a great way to force me to set a date, at least 1 to 2 weeks in advance. But the issue is that I have not been able to record any voice lines at all because my words have been so difficult. Okay, and then I can lower these, right? Yeah, I can lower all of these by a couple tiles as well, so let's do that. I think this setup for distributing fuel does make sense. It's a little heavy on the splitter cost, though. I think it would be better for me to use 2 yellow belts instead of 30 splitters. Well, actually, okay, hold on. Never mind. If this is my entire splitter cost, it's not a big deal. Because now that I think about it, we're using 30 splitters every 10 minutes. If I can't produce 3 splitters a minute, I think my base has some issues. Because these are not expensive. Like, they're not... They obviously cost stuff, but 120 iron per minute, like... I would much rather have a simpler outpost design in this case. But yeah. And then this we have lined up here. That's what we decided. Okay. So I feel like I want it as central as I can be. I like the idea that these go straight forward. I think that simplifies stuff a lot. Although, maybe I should always have them go to the closest one. That one I know goes straight forward, so that's good. Then that goes there, and then this one goes there. Now, the one that I'm concerned about is that over there. I don't really know how we're going to go that far. Maybe we split it in the middle? Then this one connects here. And then this will obviously convert these to undergrounds, by the way, if anyone's worried at all about us using all these entities on regular belt. They will 100% be converted to undergrounds later, but there's no point in doing that now. So now this is something that we could theoretically copy and line up here, right? Yes. Okay, that's the goal. Perfect. Now, where's our train going to be? I don't think it really matters, but obviously we probably want the building train probably up here. Gotta save those oopsies. What? Did I mess up? Did I break something? Because I would buy it. One of the middle-ish splitters isn't getting input. Okie dokie. Middle-ish splitters. Do you mean this one? This one's a copper lane. Oh, that kind of oopsies. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what this whole mess is about, to save oopsies. Okay, so that is fine. You know what? I'm realizing we definitely do not have the space to have iron this close. I thought maybe we could make it work. But if this is going to be right here, there is no space to route copper. Unless we somehow do copper from the other side, and I think that's a terrible, terrible plan. So yeah, these all need to be shifted up about 4 tiles probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's do 6. Well, hold on. I want to do a whole underground segment, basically. So I think this would be good. Oh, I connected this one wrong, though. That one was built wrong. I was wondering why it wasn't connected on the end. Okay. So that gives us space to route this through. Now we could do yellow belt here. I think it would be, or sorry, red belt. I think it would be a good idea to do red belt as long as possible, because we'll have red belt going through here, and that's how we're going to connect it. And then for this, we split it into two yellow belts. Oh, wait, hold on. Why are there only 4? I guess that's correct. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. Or should I split? No, this is only half a lane. Does the side matter here? Also, that's something that I need to check. No, it does not look like the side matters. Okay. So we need a half a belt here and here. Maybe I do something like that. The actual order that we split these isn't that important. It probably saves a little belt here and there, but it's not, definitely not like a critical thing that we need to do perfectly, fortunately, because this is not where most of our savings will be. Okay. And then I imagine it looks like we could shift this down a little bit, because the idea is to get it as compressed as we can. We'll reduce the amount of roboports we need a lot, and a decreased travel time. The less belt there is, the less belt we have to fill up before the whole base runs, especially with this stuff. Coal, solid fuel, whatever it is. Okay, so that has one, then 1/2 belt here, 1/2 belt there, and then 1 full belt there. And then the rest of the 5 come from this side, which this will be 2, 2, and then technically it's just going to be a yellow belt. One of these doesn't use a compressor, or one of these is literally just a yellow belt moving on a red belt. The only reason we're doing it that way is so the blueprint lines up, because if we didn't do it that way, we would have to do something like this and find where these have a shared pattern, which I think is a little bit pricey. Let's see, if it's only 4, oh, okay, we could do that actually. This isn't too bad. We could have a blueprint that's this long. This would save a decent chunk of red belt. It's not that many more entities, so that could be worth it. And then this will go. We'll want to end the yellow belt as soon as we can, I think. But yeah, we can definitely make a yellow belt work here. Okay. So yellow belt here. Unfortunately, that split is a little bit annoying, but we'll just ignore that for now. Once we shift this down, I think it'll work better. Actually, no, let's do it now. There we go. Okay. So that is 1/2. Wait, oh, this is half. This is half of a yellow belt. That's actually not that great. So this is connected to an iron mine, and then you hook up two copper mines to it. Yeah, exactly. It's we that way we look for one large iron patch and then two smaller copper patches near it, which just gave us a lot more flexibility than trying to have to find two really large copper patches and like two large iron patches. Since the other alternative was to connect like four or to make like twice as many outposts, but I think connecting two of these is going to be a lot easier than setting up twice as many outposts, just because of the ratios of resources. Sorry, it wouldn't be twice as many outposts. It would be like 50% more. But either way, I don't think 50% more is necessarily easier than finding two small patches to connect. It could be a mistake, but it might. I don't think it'll be too bad because like these two patches would realistically work, I think. So if we like got this and we got those two, we'll be happy. But it might not work out. We can always redesign the outposts slightly. Like as long as our goal is to increase our green chip production by about half, no, 2 to 3 million per hour, we have the resources to do that. It doesn't matter what our distribution is for these. So we'll probably design this and then we'll copy it to another world to see how easy it would actually be to find patches that can support this whole thing. But yeah, it's I think it's a decent idea. We'll see if it pans out. And then this probably needs to go up and then down. Okay, so that's copper. Yeah, that'll work. That's not 4 tiles, right? Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. Perfect. And then we have another copper lane here and here. And then this looks like it's pure fuel, which I think is correct. Yeah, we have a couple lanes that are nothing but fuel. Yeah, okay. And those are necessary because if we didn't want to do that, we needed a lot of splitters down the line. And it didn't actually end up being cheaper. So just having a dedicated fuel line worked a lot better. Okay, we have another copper lane here and another partial copper lane here and here. So I say we actually should. Why do I keep pasting this in the same the same wrong spot? Okay, so we'll split it down. There's one of the lanes, and then this other one we'll send here, and then we'll send a partial copper lane back, I think. It's got to be the easiest way to do it after we split off. Actually, I could... If I use like a priority, we could just have a splitter in here that sends that partial copper lane down. I think the balancing of that though seems awful, so I don't really want to do it that way. Okay. So that splits yellow belt and a yellow belt. And then this will send half of it this way, the other half this way, and then one more yellow belt connection. Wait, what? Hold up. We messed up. Right? We messed up. How did we mess up? How did we mess this up? Are they not half lane? I thought that was a half lane. Are they not? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's 6. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those have to be half lanes because 6 full lanes plus 3 half lanes adds up to 9. And I'm definitely not off by 3 full lanes. So how did we mess this up? Let's see. This is a half lane. It sends half, half. Okay, that's good. And then this also splits between these two. Half and half. Okay, perfect. 1 full lane. 1 full lane. Okay, that's good. I think we just missed a half lane somewhere. I don't know what this is. Okay, so yeah, that's correct. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 half lanes. That's what this can produce. Okay, so let's start from the right. One. This is getting a half lane. This is getting a half lane. This is getting a half lane and a half lane. Okay, that seems good. Then we move over. These are hooked up. There's one half lane, one half lane. And then this has a half lane and a half lane. So that leaves us 2 full lanes of copper. Oh wait, did I split this one too many times? I think I split this first one too many times. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because this is split too much. I get it. Okay. Um, yeah, I see where I messed up. For some reason, I think when I first built this, in my mind, I was thinking it was a quarter lane, but it's just straight up a half lane. So most of the stuff that we built is useless. Got it. Okay, so we could still use this splitter here. I think that still works well. And then we just send it straight forward to this section. Okay, now we have our first split here. Okay. And then we have another split here. Okay. And that should be good. And now all of these are finished. Okay, this looks a lot better. Yeah, okay. I like how this was a pretty easy fix, actually. The fix is almost easier than how I had it before, because just how it worked out. Okay, so we can do a splitter here, which goes into another splitter. This can be a red belt. This goes straight down. This goes over, and we delete all this junk. We delete all this junk, and this obviously needs an underground. We're just going to do a quick one right now. Okay, that is much better. We don't have any extra lanes now. Perfect. Okay, so now fuel. So the easiest way to do fuel is to just have this one lane here. However, with no supplement, this has a start time of about half an hour, even with a full red belt. So what I think we have to do is instead have a second supplement here that can send one full red belt into the center and then a supplemental red belt somewhere in this middle section. And based on how it looks, oh look, we already have something like that. Perfect. Now we're just gonna delete it though, because who cares? Where it actually is. It just needs to be roughly down the middle. And then I think the reason that we had the inserters over there is just to mimic supplementing a half belt. The reason I had it like that is just because it was really easy to regulate. I want to simulate getting 16k coal. So that's why it was kind of forced in there. Okay, so that looks like a much nicer compressor than we had before. It'll make it really easy to connect the belts, so that's nice. I don't really love this, having the yellow belt on the end, because that does make it that I kind of have to think about the design a lot. So it might be better to have a compressor. Because if I do some sort of compressor, then I don't have to think about which side is yellow and which side isn't. Although it's going to be pretty obvious, so maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. We have blueprints. I don't know what these are. Exactly. Thinking is bad. Okay. glad you understand. And then I think we have way too many radars in this. Well, we have enough radars. They're just kind of all at the top. I think it would be better to have like one here, one down there, and do the corners. Because these, I mean, they do cover the patch, but I figured I might as well scatter them throughout. And then we'll have one radar here and one radar here. Actually, you know, we don't technically need radars fuel over here at the copper outposts. Oh, except for the roboports. So we need to get, sorry, not fuel, electricity. We don't really need to get electricity that far. Anyway, time to compress this, right? So these, I think all of the copper can go down 2 tiles. So like this right here can definitely go down this low. We might need to have like 1 underground, I think. I think we can make the base a lot more compact if we have a single underground. There we go. Or like a single red underground here. I think that would be worth it. It could also just, let's see, if this turned earlier, why did I have them crossing like that? That doesn't make sense. The other alternative is to have an underground here and pass through it like so. I think, you know, saving red belts is important. And I doubt we'll actually be able to compress the copper too much down. Let's see, what if I look, see, this can go straight through. We can definitely shift them over a tile. Will 1 red belt work? How far, if these are red undergrounds, how far up can I go? Oh, that does work. Okay, that's not too bad then. One underground. Is that bad for UPS? Probably. I don't think it's so bad for UPS that it's gonna be the. I don't think that's gonna make or break the run. But going from a yellow belt to a red belt to a yellow belt probably isn't ideal. But it's also being sideloaded at the end, so it's not even a full belt. So, oh, that's why it was connected that way, because it's not a full belt. Yeah, so there's already problems with this. So yeah, we'll just keep it there. Actually, that reminds me, we could probably go through here. Oh, never mind. That's going to take a lot of red belt to go through there. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so that seems good. And then we just need to shift this over a tile, which theoretically... Would it be, what's the best way to do this? Oh, that doesn't feel like it. I don't think it's awful. It just feels awful. But it's fine. We can save this tile. Okay, that looks all right. And then this one. Oh wait, this isn't even the one that compresses here, does it? Oh no, it is. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is an iron lane. That's an iron lane. Ooh. A double whammy. Okay. Then this went through to here. Okay, and then let's make this look a little prettier because it actually does save an entity. And voila. Okay, so copper's good. First lane's done. Now we just need to get this second one, so we're just going to shift them all slightly. Then that's an iron lane, so we're just going to ignore that one. And then this splits into 2. Okay. So one goes there, and then one goes through, and then the other goes straight across to there. Okay, that looks solid to me. Okay. Yeah, I guess those all save some amount of entities. And then we also want to save all of this stretch here. Incredibly easy resource underground savings. It almost fully utilizes the underground too. It actually does fully utilize the underground. So yeah, no reason not to use it if it is a max length underground. There's basically no downsides there. Okay, I think we connected the copper correctly, aside from missing a little bit of belt. And then we have some more entity savings we can do, which I don't know if we can really justify that, but we're going to do it anyway. Now here, we could save some entities, but we're exchanging it for much more expensive entities, so I don't think that's really, I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so that was the copper on the right half. That should be good. We're actually going to test this to make sure it lines up, and to do that, that's the wrong color. We need fast loaders for this. Okay, we should just be able to do an infinity chest here and everything will work out. It's weird not having anything on my hotbar, but I would rather... Oops. Well, it just saved, but I would rather not spend a ton of time filling out my hotbar when most of the time we're cube picking anyway. Okay, so that should fill up every lane that had copper, right? On the right side. I think that's good. Yeah. And then this is a half lane split into 2 more half lanes. Okay, I remember now. These were a little bit awkward, but not surprised. But yeah, we're not using a ton of splitters. Honestly, most of the red splitters we're using are for the fueling. So if I can figure out a better way to do the fueling, I think life looks a little bit neater. I also think fuel should probably come from the middle, because we are sending it to the right and then back, which doesn't really make much sense. And then now we can compress all of these, or shift all of these down as well. Right? Yeah. So let's just shift that down. We'll shift this down. And then replace these with undergrounds as we can. Okay. Belt and underbelt, and voila. Okay. We no longer need this. We no longer need this. We no longer need this. Okay, so that should be split properly. And then we're just going to shift these down as well. So we should be able, we shouldn't have any real problem shifting these 2 tiles. Although it does look like we either need to shift where this goes under or move the splitter up a tile. I think we're just going to have this go under in a different spot. Yeah, especially since we can do that with for only a couple more entities. Yeah, that was a reasonable option. I would have taken that many entities anyway. Okay. This goes through, and then underground, and I think that's all. This left side really didn't have that many connections that were difficult. Okay, and voila. Now, is there any cleaning up we can do? Yes. Very little, but there are some entities we can save here and there by shifting things up. This one doesn't really have that option. Okay. I think I am pretty happy with this. We could actually, hold on, I think that's technically better. Yeah, we just couldn't do it on the other side because spacing purposes. Actually, wait, would we have been able to do that on the other side? Yeah, this one got in the way earlier. That's why it didn't work. Okay, so we should have coal or copper. So now when we connect the belts, we'll have a goal where we just connect 2 of them here and then 2 of them here. Now, because of that, we're also sending fuel to the right. So I don't really know how the fuel connections are going to work. I guess let's carry on with shifting all of the iron down to see if that gives us a better idea of what things look like first. I do want to leave 1 space here for a fuel belt going each direction. Ooh, this doesn't work there. That is unfortunate. Okay, so that's fine because we can also do this. That doesn't solve the problem. Just makes it a different problem. Okay, so that might work. The reason we needed this space there is I need the connection for fuel to be easier. and it needs to end in an underground, like so. Unless we have the fuel going through here. Actually, we could do that. We could have the fuel be, well, no, either way that doesn't line up. So yeah, we just need a normal belt here, so that way the fuel, the pattern works. Okay. Not ideal. It just increased the cost by 1 underground, but there's worse things. There's worse things in the world. There's worse things in our design. Actually, no, that there are, but a lot of them are more functional than I wanted to make something slightly more convenient. But during the outpost phase, it's literally 2.5. It's literally like 2 to 3 hours of just connecting things. We want them to be as easy as possible. So now we can shift everything down as much as it can go. I feel like we could probably do one more if we use some undergrounds, and we will. We'll 100% do some undergrounds. So we'll cut these. Well, we'll start with the easy one. Shift it down until it has no conflicts. And then let's replace these with undergrounds, because I feel like that is a pretty straightforward thing to do. And then we'll make the other ones weave through that, because this is the only one that crosses other belts. So if we make this one our primary belt that we build around, that makes things very, very nice. Well, maybe not very nice. That's too many varies. Slightly nice. Nothing's very nice when it comes to burners. There we go. Okay. Kind of like that. So that's the middle one. This lane, yeah, we can either go under here. Actually, yeah, let's do that. No, that works well. Okay. And then voila. One connection. And then this one doesn't have any kind of conflict. So that one's nice and straightforward. And then it's looking like we're definitely going to have space to shift it down one. Honestly, if we can shift it down up to 2 tiles, that can go straight through as well. We're going to assume that can go straight through. Now this one, a little bit messier. Yeah, that one's a little bit messier. Yeah, let's shift them all down one. That's a fair assumption. Actually, let's shift them down 2. I think we can make 2 work. No, wait, we can make 1 work. Okay. That's decently close. I don't think saving, we're not going to save much if we go any farther. So rotate the belts. That one's connected. This is connected. These are connected. That's connected. This one, this one's messy. This one's got to be messy. Yeah, I don't love this one. I don't like that one at all. Can I swap it with this, though? Yes, but does that simplify things? Kind of. Yeah, kind of. Okay, if I shift this down one and side swap them, things looks a lot cleaner where things are supposed to go. So yeah, let's go with that. Because now it just has to rotate at the end. It doesn't have two rotations. Much more reasonable. There we go. And then one more set here. And then this can just be 2 undergrounds. Okay. This looks pretty clean, honestly. I think I'm content with that. And then we need to find wherever fuel's got to come from. It's actually, well, considering the fuel compressor is here, if we realign this, let's see, where is that roughly? The fuel split is actually here, I think. So this is where you have the splitter sending cool 2 ways, sending cold 2 ways. There we go. Okay. And then we replace it with as many undergrounds as we can, and that spacing is way nicer than it should have been. Okay, so this is possibly a problem. I don't know if we have that underground. Never mind, we definitely have that underground considered in our calculations, right? 68 underground, and then we have the underground going towards our base. And we can always expand it. We can add more undergrounds. If we are short on underground production, that's the easiest thing to redo because we have the iron in our base. It's just on the bottom side of our base. So we can make a compressor that sends more iron up top if we're somehow not getting enough. But right now we have, I think, 8 red belts of iron going into undergrounds and belts, but primarily, and just non-undergrounds, but it's primarily going into undergrounds. So if we don't have enough, I don't think we're gonna reach our goal. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not too concerned with that. Okay, so the reason we're connecting these like this, make it really easy to go to the outpost, and then once we get here, it splits off the edge. Now, red belt's expensive. We just established that. But how expensive is it? So this could be a case of undergrounds are cheap, so I would rather use more undergrounds. Kind of like here, the way that we had the underground row next to the yellow belt row, like with this. They do line up every 3 stretches of underground. So what's the entity? What's the entity difference between these two? So if we were to do this versus this, 18 versus 20, so it's 10% fewer entities. That seems like not a lot, considering it's 10% of like 20, right? It's not like 10% of like 1,000. When we have the whole lane connected, it's going to be 10% of like 200 maybe, so 20 entities. But the cost difference, if we can find an assembling machine, 97 times 10, basically. Let's see, 18 times... Actually, we only have to care about the difference, right? So that's 6. So 585 iron versus 17.5 times 8. 140. So it saves 400 iron every stretch at the cost of like 2 more entities. That is actually a very huge gap. I don't think I can justify wasting the red belt here. That's way more than I thought it would be. Okay, so yeah, we'll use the yellow belt. And if we're using yellow belt there, I see no reason not to use yellow belt for fueling either. So either way, we're gonna have yellow belt here. So we actually need to repurpose this one and turn it into a yellow belt. Because honestly, fueling the burners is actually not that difficult. I'm not too worried about that at all when it comes to like average consumption or even like start delay. Because the thing is, most of our fuel is used up here, like the vast majority of it. I think 150 times 600. Wait, is it? Maybe not. 150 times 600. That's 90,000. Wait, hold on. I thought, was my earlier math off? Did I accidentally forget a zero? But if I do 32 times 1800 times 363, oh, plus 363 times 90. Okay, no, it's not vast majority. It's about half and half. So this does consume about half the fuel. That makes sense. But the startup time wise, I think this is way more fuel because this is already this is locally consumed. That's not gonna have any issues with throughput. This stretch only really has 500 tiles worth of belt. This also only has 500 tiles worth of belt. This, on the other hand, what the heck? Oh, it was appearing 16 times faster. This has like 100 times, probably 10 to 20? So something like that. I'd say this has about 5,000 tiles of belt, at least, maybe 10,000. Not that's not how many entities it has, but how much like belt total. Because when it comes to startup time, the underground portions of the underground do matter, because belts resource fuel still sits on that belt before everything starts. So yeah, we'll do yellow. We can always change it later. That's the one of the easier things to change. We need to come up with blueprints that can rotate stuff. I do like how symmetrical this looks. That looks really nice. I mean, it matters which one is which, but I do like how it looks. Yeah, this would go here. We'll place that there, and we'll do another one over here, which would go. Actually, wait. Let's just place it there. What am I doing? What am I doing? We can just move this farther. Yeah, I just wanted to see the pattern that I had created, basically. Okay, that's a red belt. I don't think that matters, but we'll switch it anyway. That's not right. This is coal and coal. Okay. And then solid fuel is here. We are assuming we're getting a full belt of solid fuel. I don't know how realistic that is. I know we can get a full belt at some point. Don't know if we can get a full yellow belt ever. Yeah, okay, technically we can get a full yellow belt. Plus the startup time, wherever that ends up being, which I think we'll have the train up here. Okay, and then this we can do the exact same thing. So let's actually just shift those. Paste this here, paste this here. Okay, that makes it way more clear which belt is which. Okay, now I think it's finally time that we cut this and then we paste it next to the lanes. I think it's time. Okay. Unfortunately, this is in the way, so we're just gonna paste that there. We're gonna shift this up a little bit because it's not gonna be that close. And if it is, we wouldn't use it. Okay, so now it's the moment. Now it's the fun part. How much of a gap should I have? Because technically, I can place it completely up against this if I really wanted to. But I think we need to leave room for a compressor and for a fuel supplement somewhere. So maybe that's not the best option. Yeah, that's probably not the best option. Because because we already like made this like we've already made it like 10 tiles more compact than it was when it started, I think. Let's see. One down to one. Okay, so that is a change in height of about 130. I think it's more like 127. Let's see what it was before. I mean, at the very least, it's way cleaner and uses way fewer entities because we switched over to undergrounds. Oh, wow, this is way different. Okay, 1 and 1. Okay. That is about 150. More like 145. Okay, so yeah, we already cut off like 20 tiles. I don't think we need to care that much about the remaining 2. Geez, that's a lot, actually. That's 120 tiles, or 20 tiles. That's 20 times about 30. That's like 600 times 8. That's about 4,000 extra fuel to start everything, something like that. Hello, Arters. Welcome, welcome. Oh wait, hold up. We have free entity saving. Well, not these aren't entity savings. We have free cost savings here. Might as well take advantage of those. Okay, so this is the tricky part because we can't really run all this, can we? Okay, we can technically run all this. We just still need 2 belts, 2 pipes. And then I think it would be best to switch these to maybe not be direct feeding. I think this might increase the pipe requirement. It's hard to say. We also want as many undergrounds as we can get here. I think making this cheap or entity... I'm making this work well with pressure. Pressure, that's what I care about. Not the entities. Making this pressure sensitive is it's difficult. It's very difficult. Okay, we care about the inputs. You know, the outputs aren't going to have pressure issues, so maybe we don't care about those at all. Then I feel like we can compress this. If we shift this over, yeah, we can save a substation. It looks like we just copied it and rotated it, which is fine. Yeah, let's leave these two. Let's leave these two tiles. I think I am pretty happy with that. That's not, and these don't even store fuel, so really, the only thing it would do is make bots travel a little bit slower. Now I need to look at their blueprints real quick. What is R3? Oh, the maybe important stuff. Yeah, I remember now. I thought I had their blueprints. Okay, so I've looked at their outposts a little bit before. They're the ones that are like L3, right? Yeah, these ones. So their train actually gets unloaded in the middle. So we probably should do that. Especially considering building time. If we unload up here, that would be silly. So yeah, we can definitely widen this gap. The undergrounds won't have any trouble at all with the train. We could have the building train be right here. Yeah, and then we can unload. Theoretically, we might be able to unload just into a chest. Oh, cool. We have space for chests over here. Most of the chests are going to be on the top half. And then we'll have a roboport somewhere. So we'll just have to make sure robots are in a particular half, which I don't think will be problematic. It is a double-sided train, which means every time we send it back to the outpost, it can technically turn itself around, right? Is that how double-sided trains work if you have a loop? Yeah, technically. Um, Maybe not. It probably won't turn itself around. But yeah, this all just needs to go up one tile, I think, and then we won't have an issue. Maybe I should do one more. So that way I can actually fit roboports in here if I want to unload on both halves. R3 is mirrored, L3 due to train stations. Oh, is that why they're mirrored? I don't think that changes much though, right? I mean, it changes, obviously, how the train works and connects. But it doesn't change the outpost being in the train being in the middle, right? That's on both of them. So we can design a mirrored one if we want. Don't know if we need to worry that much about it. Because I mean, if you don't do the mirroring, the only difference is you just need to make a slightly suboptimal train path and just, use the extra tiles going around. It's not the end of the world. The mirroring just saves about 100-ish tracks. Which, I mean, it's not hard to mirror it. It's just something to keep in mind. That is the main advantage. You can get around train flipping by either designing the train to be symmetrical, only having a singular content, or design to not care where exactly the contents are. So the issue is we do kind of care where the contents are because of the roboports. What we could do, we're sending fuel on the train, right? So hmm. We're sending fuel on the train. That complicates things a lot. But if we had like the fuel in the front and the back, and then the middle was the resources, a symmetrical design isn't really going to work that well. Because that only leaves us like four wagons to put resources in. Maybe hold on. I think we have to finish the outpost first. Because I think a lot of it boils down to what do we think is going to be inside the wagons. Fuel cart, robo, cart stuff, robo, cart, fuel, cart. Yeah, yeah, something like that. Fuel, fuel, stuff, stuff, robo, robo could both be in the middle, something like that. So we can make that part symmetrical. I guess we do have the ability to filter the wagons. So the only thing that realistically would be wasted by robo stuff is like 4 stacks of robots, right? If we put like 200 robots in each outpost and we wasted all of them between 2 carts, that means it could be unbalanced by 4 stacks each. So, you know what? Symmetrical wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, symmetrical wouldn't be that bad, would it? Because in my mind, I was thinking symmetric would be absolutely awful because it would waste too many items inside the trains. But that's silly because the only thing that needs to be into robots is, like I just mentioned, the four stacks of robots, construction bots, or however many we use. So that means from a 4 train design, I would be sacrificing 8 slots, up to 8 slots, or up to 4 slots to make it symmetrical. We can live with that, right? We can live with that. Because those are the only things that we need to make sure we have. Well, the thing is, there isn't really a middle wagon, or that's the only issue. It's a. I mean, I guess we can make it a 9 long train. That wouldn't be terrible. Like it's already going to be 8. We can make it 9. It's not going to be that much slower. So yeah, we could just do that. And then we have the middle wagon, and we don't have to think about it. You can mix carts in ways too, like have the robo carts also carry more fuel or additional supplies. Well, they couldn't carry more fuel. That's not possible. That's not possible to use safely. They can carry other supplies though. The fuel trains have to be dedicated fuel trains. They can't have any building materials in them, and that's just because we don't really have filter burners, and there's no good, and we can't filter out just fuel from a cart without filtering it through like a boiler first. And if we do that, then we potentially drain the fuel before the wagons are unloaded. it's 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 not great. There might be a way we can do it if we're not using that much space. Like if we only have a few stack of items, we could probably make that work. But if we have like 20 stacks of items and 20 stacks of fuel, that wouldn't work. So really just a fuel can. Well, it's not going into a roboport. It's going into a chest into a roboport. Because I mean, my idea was to have robots go into a chest and then that chest go into a roboport. If the middle wagon was solely just robots and fuel, that could work. That could be an option. That's how they work in the electric base, robots and middle wagon. Do they just do them directly into the roboport? I mean, yeah, if we just do them directly into the roboport and have nothing else in the wagon, we could do fuel there. Oh, might have to call it in a couple minutes. Apparently, someone's family's visiting very soon, and I'm the only one home to let them in. So I might have to wrap it up here. But yeah, that's yeah. If we just do just the roboports, it should be fine. Then we can do the fuel wagon and make it symmetrical. So that would be like this, and then these. Now we have 2 options here. We could go directly onto a belt, or we could filter it out through a boiler. And the only difference between those two, we can make either work. It just depends on if we want this to also have building materials. Yeah, filters to not put anything wrong would be nice, for sure. So what we'll have to do, since we don't have filters, we'll have filters inside the train, but what we'll do is we will have the wagons will have filters, and they'll have fuel being the first filter, and then roboports being the second. Or sorry, the other way around. Robots being the first filter, then the last like 20 slots will be fuel. There's another way to filter. Use splitters. That doesn't help though, does it? Like we can filter out of the wagon, but what do we do with the fuel after that? Or do you just mean have these like unload coal directly into it like this? Is that the idea? That doesn't work. Maybe I misunderstood it. Does it only work one way? Is this one of those things that can only work some directions? No. No, it is not. Okay, did I misunderstand you? I'm not sure how this can work. Or do you just mean like unload normally and then filter them back into a chest? Is that all you were thinking? Just like a normal filter? I was thinking it was like abusing sides of filters. Yeah, I also don't know what the train contents will look like. This stuff mostly. Uh, let's see, what is that? 30 stacks of undergrounds, 15 stacks of yellow belts, and then 5 to 10 stacks of everything else. Okay, gotcha. I thought there was like I thought if you like tried to output onto a splitter, it like kind of wouldn't let you. But I think what it does is it just outputs onto the correct side because it outputs before the splitter. I was thinking you could just use it to filter the inserter, but no, that would have been cool. Although those tricks don't matter that much. But yeah, I think we have to wrap it up here. Because yeah, I thought they were coming way later, and then they're like, "Oh, we're on our way." So yeah, we'll have to continue this tomorrow. I might, I don't know, I might work a little bit on this tonight to get like a better idea of how much we need to bring. So that way, when we work on this tomorrow, I actually know what needs to be in each chest. So that way, the brainstorming is a lot more productive. Actually has values and stuff like that, as opposed to I might have a problem. It'll be nice to have numbers. Hello, Vega. Good evening. Yeah, I have to wrap it up here pretty suddenly because, yeah, I have to let go someone in. I have to go entertain family that's coming into the house that I did not know was coming. So yeah, hope you all have a wonderful evening. Sorry for sort of the rushed ending just as we got started with the outpost designing, but I'll see you all next time. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.